Okay.
Recording in progress.
Hey, remind me. We got Beautiful. You were swinging Beautiful.
Yeah.
First Black Anna in Frozen. Stand by for Tony Award winner Joaquina Kalakungo in Paradise Square. What's the fourth one?
Waitress.
Not in the right order.
Mm-hmm.
Waitress
Mm-hmm.
in the ensemble.
Yeah. I didn't cover any principals on that. Everyone else in the ensemble covered a principal, but me.
And just finished starring as Snow Black in Once Upon One More Time. Please help me welcome.
Is this a practice? Are we going in order?
I kind of just feel like this is going to be super casual. The audience, they've met you before. This is not your first time on my show. And so I am pleased to reintroduce you to the one and only Aisha Jackson.
Hi.
Sorry.
Darling.
So it's our last day in the theater.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like, how are you feeling?
I feel good. I feel very grateful. I feel proud. I feel accomplished of like what we did. Yeah, that's what I'll say. I feel proud, grateful, accomplished, more knowledgeable. Yeah. And I'm like very grateful that we had such a beautiful audience on Sunday night. That audience was like
standing O during Bottom of My Broken Heart.
Yeah.
Standing O during
opening numbers, standing O during Toxic. I just like, and every time we had it, I love that I allowed myself to feel the feels. I cried. Like I was trying to stay present in the moment and experience it, but also like, you know, we're doing a show, so like I'm in character still, but like breaking the fourth wall. I took a few peeks in the audience, and like at the end of Bottom of My Broken Heart, I was just there like crying, and I like cheers the audience with my bottle.
We were crying too.
Yeah, and Steven filmed Bottom of My Broken Heart, but from the wings, and I watched it, and I didn't realize that Briga and Ashley stood up on stage to like give me a standing ovation on stage. So I saw that the other day, and I was like, oh
my God.
But yeah, I feel good. I came in today feeling like I was gonna be like fine, and then I came in and I like emptied stuff out, and I was like, wow. And I just like took one last, you know, moment in the mirror, and literally was like, oh, good. But it's yes, there's sadness there, of course. It's a roller coaster of waves, but it's also just like this release, and like to be able to have the freedom, you know, in my heart, mind, body, soul, voice, back, knees,
right?
I don't have to carry this weight anymore,
right?
Of the responsibility to like make this work and to come in every day and to give 100% and like all that stuff. That's kind of like, it's gone. It's off your shoulders.
It wasn't always a weight though.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't always a weight. Sometimes it was just a gift, you know, sometimes it was fun, sometimes, but there were also days where it was frustrating and
yes,
angering and anxiety inducing, and what are we going to get today? And are we making the best version of the play?
Right.
And
oh, I have a question about that. So out of all the versions you've seen, because you've been with this project since what, 2017?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that the version, and this is a real question, do you think that the version that we ended with was the best version? Or what was the best, like?
I think it was on its way to being that. So yes, but also I feel like it could have had more impact than we ended up having. But I am happy for the impact in the story that we ended with. I will say, like, for myself specifically, I actually had a time during previews where I kind of had to mourn and grieve the version of the play that I thought was going to come to life.
Yes, I remember that.
And that was very hard for me. Because I just had different ideas and plans for this project. And I guess for me, it's always my goal to create a role that another Black woman can stand in and not feel like she's playing a stereotypical version of herself, or what these humans think.
I think you did a good job.
And I like don't want her to have to think about the words that she's saying and if they're prejudiced or racist or misogynistic or anything like that, you know, not, and that's not necessarily my weight to carry, but because of, I truly like, and I put it in all my bios, like it is my goal to continue making roles for Black women to lead and to shine. And in that, I want them to be 3-dimensional. I want them to not just be the dumb best friend the entire play. I want them to not.
Snow went through her iteration.
Right. And so when I signed on for Snow, like Snow had an arc where she gained a lot of knowledge, and it was, you knew that through her lines, and then some of those lines were taken away. So it's like, okay, how do I still create this arc without having that material?
Do you there was a part in previews and rehearsals when we had a long monologue, scientific.
It was so much
in the march scene. Do you miss it, or are you glad it's gone?
I ended up missing it. At the beginning, I was like, what is this? John, cut it. But then as I became more comfortable with it and not as afraid of it, I was like, oh, there are moments in here, there are pockets. Yes. There's a rhythm to this. There is an arc to this. And so once I finally found it, it was actually an industry night where a lot of Black humans were present. Yes. And I was like feeling the energy from them. And I was like, okay, let's make some more choices. And so I was like, oh, I found it. I finally found it. And then it got chopped. It got chopped.
As your understudy in this production,
#Salisha for life.
I just want to say, like, I'm so grateful. I signed on to this. I ain't never been no swing, nor do I ever want to be a swing again.
You did it.
Okay.
It's done. You did it well.
I did it. But I will say I said yes because I got to be Aisha Jackson's understudy. And that was a big moment for me. And I really never took for granted getting to watch you build a character, putting things in that challenged you, that stretched you. I'm like, I would be too afraid to put that in. I'm like,
I will say this project is I viewed it as a gift because it helped me with like comedic timing and shit. Like, I didn't think I was funny, but I'm like, yeah. But people don't generally ask me to do, comedic characters. So like Anna was kind of like the first foot in the door. And then this being able to explore that comedic timing more, explore like, I love when I get a new line and I know the intention of the book writer, and then I can also add my flair to that. Like that to me doesn't challenge. I mean, it is a challenge, but it's like something that like I invite. I'm like, yes, give me something else to work with, because then it's like, oh, I get to explore and like figure out this idea and stuff like that.
So what about for you? Like the project before this, you were the standby for Tony Award winning Shakina Kalakungo.
Yeah.
Like going from being, you've understudied, you've swung before, like you've been a standby before, going from that into stepping into your own starring role with more star things on deck. Like, what does that feel like? And would you ever be a standby again?
No. Well, it has to be a very particular human. Yeah. Shakina Kalakungo is amazing. And I love her. I would stand by for her again. But no, I don't want to stand by anymore, because something that I actually realized is the last 2 projects that I've done were standing by, which also meant it was my responsibility to build stamina on my own. Yes. And so like coming in every day and not doing the show, and then having to do it one-off, you're like, great. It doesn't matter. Like, I mean, vocal health always matters, but you can go on stage and you can go balls to the walls
because you're only doing it once
and sit down because you're not doing it 8 times. Now, when that human takes a vacation or is sick or has personal days that cause them to be out consecutively, then you're like, oh, stamina. What's that? Got to find her. Balance. Yes. Got to find her. Yes. But I realized, because the past 2 projects that I've been on, then coming here and doing 8 shows a week was actually difficult. And this show is not that, it's physically demanding, vocally it wasn't as demanding, but I feel like because of our balance in sound and pop music and stuff on Broadway, you always end up pushing more than you should. So
you also never hold back.
No, I mean, I don't like to show up. Yes, we all have our versions of like, this is my A show, this is my B show.
Amen.
Like,
Amen.
if I'm in C, D, E, F, G, we're at home. I'm not coming. That's not have a caliber of excellence to uphold. And no shame to anybody who does whatever they need to do, because we all have to find balance.
That's a really good way to put it.
Yeah.
I'll give you my A show. Here's my B show. But if I'm in C, D, E, F, G, I'm at home.
You might get a C, but I don't want to. And here's the thing. It's not about like, I don't want anyone to see. I don't want you to see me fail. It's not that. It's, I don't want to be in my head while I'm on stage thinking about, oh, can I do this move? Oh, can I sing this song? How do I need to redo this to make sure? That's what I need to do before the show. And if I can clock, okay, you need to not sing this here, you need to not sing that there, the rest of your show is fine. But if I'm like, okay, I got to maneuver through this, I got to do this. Okay, I can't do that move because my back's hurting today. Yeah. My knees are, so I can't go down. Like if I'm doing that, you can't do the show. Yeah. You're not bringing the best of yourself to this production. So for the betterment of the show and my wellness, I'm going to stay at home.
Question about that. Cause like as an understudy, this is my first time ever having to do that. If I haven't done a role for a couple of weeks or more, whatever, going on like one-off, how do you find, how in the past when you were the standby, how did you find your flow so that you weren't thinking about all these little details? How did
I mean, at first I feel like it always happened. I feel like in Frozen, whenever I wouldn't go on for long periods of time, I would go, oh my God, I haven't done this since last week. Oh my God, I haven't done this since. Okay, here we go. I would sit in the dressing room and go through the entire thing in my head. Like, but like, that's too much. We shouldn't be doing that. But we do, I mean, whatever. Everyone has their process. And so I would sit and I would go through all the lines. I would go through all the scenes. I would sing through the melodies in my head just to double check so that once I got on stage, I can at least say, you did this morning. So you know it, you know? But then there would be times where you're just thrown on.
Yeah.
Which I got it. Because you don't have time to think about it. You don't have time. You can't.
Hey, Bob. Not yet. I haven't.
Okay. I'm seeing before you leave.
Okay. Love you, buddy.
No, when you get thrown on, you don't have time to worry. I don't. When I get thrown on, I'm like, all right, where we go?
That's kind of true.
It's true because you're kind of like fight or flight. It's either like, no, actually, I can't do this today. Ask somebody else to do it, and you leave. Okay, or you go, all right, here we go. It's time to go. What can I do? And so you put on your makeup. You go like beautiful. They called me. I was sitting in the back of the house watching the show. Rebecca wasn't feeling well, and she, tapped out. I went back. They came and grabbed me from the back of the house.
No.
Yeah. We go back. Everybody else is going crazy. Also, I have to stay calm in moments like that. I can't go crazy because if I go crazy, I can't do my job. But everybody's like, okay, how do you? And I was like, it's okay. We're gonna prep my hair. I already got on makeup because I had a photo shoot that day randomly. Great. And I was like, we have 10, 15 minutes before she makes her appearance as Janelle. We just got to get dressed and we go out there and we do it. And I was studying Janelle's track because she was about to go on vacation for her wedding.
Okay.
Anyway.
Okay.
So to me, it was just like, oh, okay, cool. You just got your refresher. Here we go. And I go out on stage and I'm like, and I'm like, wait a minute. This entire audience doesn't know that I was literally just sitting right there with them. But like in those moments, you cannot. I had a moment where I had to go on 5 minutes at 5 minutes to places for Anna.
Oh.
And my hair was in a poof. I was like, so what y'all gonna do to this? Her.
What did they do?
I detangled it and
Oop.
prepped it. But yeah, I went on 5 minutes to places and they were like, are you ready? And I was like, I mean, no, but if you want to start the show, go for it. They kept knocking, are you ready yet? And I was like, no, you literally just call me down here. So I'm going to do my best to get dressed as quickly as possible. They held the show, of course. But Anna also doesn't go on for the first like 15, 20 minutes. But those moments, you kind of just go with it and you don't question anything because you know that you are the answer to the problem right now.
Yes.
And so you have to be that answer. You have the capacity to be that answer because you've already done it. So I have to remind myself, you've done this before. I also tell myself anything that you do is right
Oh,
to release pressure.
yes.
Which, you know, of course, I don't want to go on and like F up everything, but like it releases that mindset of like, you got to do everything correctly or you got to do everything. I also release that mindset of you have to do everything like the other person does it, because I'm not the other person.
Right.
I'm a different human, and you've asked me to do the role the way I do the role. So I'm going to do the role like I do it. But yeah.
You really gave me grace. The day that I got thrown on for Cinderella, I was like, I'm probably going to be singing. We're going to be singing in harmony. I mean, in unison at some point.
And I said, okay.
Cool. And you looked me in the eyes and I was like, we singing the same.
We're singing the song. And the audience has no clue what the show is.
Oh my God.
That's the freedom that you have to give yourself. They don't know what the show is. So if we sing in unison on 2-3 words, what they gonna be like, oh my God, she didn't sing the harmony there.
But you know, closing night, they did know what the show was. That audience, a lot of them had been
whatever.
Okay, so
but like there's always somebody new who doesn't know the show. So you're doing the show for them for the first time. So whatever you do is gonna be fine.
So my next question is,
as long as you don't royally, you know, screw up.
You're a very confident person.
Oh, yes.
Extremely.
Is that a knock? Come in. No. Okay.
You're a very confident person. Which, by the way, we are sitting in Aisha's dressing room. It's all cleared out. That's why people keep, this is load out. People are coming in and out of this room. Yeah. And it's so sad and bare right now. Yeah. But your confidence, when you need to call out, you call out. When, how do you do that? How do you do that?
You have to take care of yourself. I am my responsibility. It is my first priority to take care of myself. It is also very important that I take care of the gift that God has given me. So if ever I'm going to place myself in a position to bring harm to this, don't do that.
She's touching the gift.
Yeah.
The voice.
Yeah.
Lavote.
Because it's my responsibility to take care of this. It's my responsibility to take care of all of this.
Because this is not your last gig.
This is no.
We
have a career. We have an EGOT to earn. But no, and we have a ministry. Manifest. I have a ministry that is not just this show. I have a lifetime of mentorship, of a career, of imparting wisdom on others, of teaching, of learning, of traveling, of all the things. I can't do that if I go and throw my health to the wayside. I have to be healthy.
You have to take care of you.
Yeah. And sadly, we don't always have producers who care. Right. We do have them, and then sometimes you don't. And overall, their number one priority, sadly, is the show.
It's the show.
And their money. Rightfully so in some perspectives. But that's their baby. This is my baby. So I'm gonna put this baby first. You gonna put that baby first, and I salute you, respect you. That's your job. It's my job to take care of me.
Can I ask you, what do you think should have been different in our process?
I think just showing kindness, especially for the schedule. Our tech and like preview schedule and everything, like tech and preview is always, the schedule is always brutal. But I think staggered calls and being more forthright about what exactly we're doing today. And I was spoiled because in college, I had a director who he planned stuff to a T. So you were never kept beyond the time that you were needed.
Nice.
He made sure he is crazy, which didn't always leave too much room for spontaneity, I guess, if you think about it. But he kept himself on a schedule, which kept us on a schedule, and which kept people's time from being wasted.
Yeah.
And so, we all have a certain capacity of yes, I'm here. This is my job. I'm supposed to be here.
Right.
I want to be present. I want to be helpful. I want to be collaborative. But I feel like when you push us to the edge and we're already on this very demanding schedule, you don't get the best collaboration, energy.
I completely agree. Even for the swings, if we don't know what we're doing, it's like, who are we watching? Who's popping out in rehearsals? It's like the cast who was in every day doesn't even know the show yet. They're still learning it, it's still being built. And sometimes it's changing.
And I hate that it is just expected for a swing to pop up and know exactly. Like there was one day I had a fitting. I don't think they told you when I was leaving.
No.
That's another thing. It's like when you know that you're going to want somebody to stand in for that person that day, email them, hey, anyone who has an appointment today, we need you to stand in for them. So then at least you can be looking at them.
So I can just be having eyes.
But there was one day that based on the break or whatever, they had to let me go. But there were only like 10 minutes left in rehearsal.
Right before the full run
through of a new number we had just learned. And I literally was standing there like,
they do
just
that?
let me come back late so that she don't have to stand up here and do this whole number that we literally just changed. I had to like force myself to leave the room because I was like, just let me do it. She doesn't know it. Like, that's unfair. Like, that's so unfair. So I have never been a fan of that when they're like, because it's happened as a standby as well, which for a standby is easier because you're just watching one person.
But when you got 12.
So at least if they call me up when I'm standing by for one person, I'm like, okay, well, I know this one person's thing. But like, hey, can you be her? And then she's going to go. And then can you be her because she has to go? And then can you be her because she has? And it's like, first of all, schedule these things at another time when we're not working on their number. That's not like, that's a whole bunch of creative team, stage management, the wig fitting, the shoe fitting place, like there's so many things that have to align for that to happen, which I get is a hassle. But I feel like when you're kinder in that respect, because there was one day we were here in rehearsal and I was so tired that day. I needed the afternoon. And the thing is, like, when you're in previews, a lot of people don't know, you're still in rehearsals
all day.
So you're in rehearsals all day. You're at the theater all day. You're
Sometimes
making
huge changes.
You're making huge changes to go in that night.
That shouldn't have happened always. The surgeries were big.
You put those changes in that night. You go home, you go to sleep, you wake up, and you do it all over again for 5.5 weeks.
It's
also preview periods shouldn't be that long.
It was wild.
And we should get paid extra.
Yes.
Because we're rehearsing and performing.
Instead of paid less.
Previews, you do start performance pay. So some people get
opening night, isn't it?
No. As soon as we start performances, you get your performance pay, which for some, depending on what role you are, you get more money. But I think we're doing double the work.
It is double the work.
We get paid rehearsal pay and then we get paid performance pay, but we're doing rehearsal and performance.
And they were giving us these huge surgeries and it was a lot.
It's a lot
on everybody. And they kept doing it until it manifested in our little girl who went on stage, who had the last line of the show and couldn't remember.
Yeah.
Then they were like, oh, maybe we should put these big changes in and then give them 2 days.
And when those changes are that big, your break is not a break. Your break is you getting food after you finish rehearsal and then coming back here to rehearse until it's time for the show because you don't want to mess it up.
I can never let oh my God. Oh my.
So yes, I think scheduling can be kinder. And I remember there was one day that they gave like a lot of us the day off midweek, like out of nowhere. And it was so helpful. It was so kind. And I was like, oh, what if this was like something that just happened or we swapped, or like, okay, we're going to be doing these numbers, which these people are in. So half of the cast that's not in them gets a break today. And then tomorrow we're going to swap so that the other people can get it takes a lot of planning, but I think it would be very kind to everyone to have more rest. One day off is not enough.
What did you learn about yourself from April 3rd or from 2017 or from March 2020, from DC to Broadway?
A lot. Cemented a lot of thoughts and ideas of let's see. I learned a lot. I want to be a producer, and the way that my mind works is like that. And so it was cool to like, and I want to be a director. And like in this process, I've said that out loud for the first time and allow myself to like live in that. It's always been something in my head, but I never said it out loud. And so I said it out loud for the first time in one of our rehearsals. And I was like, oh yeah. And then I was able to observe the room and the way things work and the way things are run, and get closer to some producers and have these different types of conversations and realize that like my brain works like that. So that was nice because it's kind of like a validation of that. Definitely helped me to work on my comedic timing, forced me to dance. I've always been, I always tell people I move well. I think it's because of the expectation of like, if I say I'm a dancer, like you're going to expect me to be able to like, ga.
You were like,
and I don't be feeling like I could ga everything.
They didn't put you in the middle of that clump and crazy for no reason.
They put me in the middle of that clump, and I was like, you got all these dancers around me, and you want me to be in the middle of the... You better believe I was on the sidelines like this. Are you sure you want me to do it? But then, of course, I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna be in the middle, so I can't F it up. Here we go.
And you did it.
Yeah. I was like, all right, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. But it definitely taught me more confidence in my dance, and like being challenged in that way was scary AF. But I'm like,
sorry, man.
I'm like, Keone Murray, thank you. But I was like, you put me next to Justice Moore, who is about to eat down, so I cannot suck. You got Josh and Pauline over. Like, I was like, okay, yeah.
Right.
Okay, here we go. So it definitely pushed me out of that like comfort zone of not deeming myself a dancer. And just like freedom of choice and like being able to play, like not be afraid to play in the space. Like it gave me more confidence in that area. So yeah, and it's taught me the human I desire to be and the human I don't desire to be. Like seeing some of that, and just like what I want to.
I would love for you to expand on that.
Tell me to advocate for myself and others. I will say during the pandemic,
yes.
Just talking to people about the industry and all the ways that it desperately needs to change. But I feel like, it's not always going to happen from the top down. And it is I don't have it on today. I have my Black Lives Matter, but I have a thing that says be the change. And I believe that no matter how big or small, it's my responsibility to create change in this industry. Now, it might not be the hugest contribution ever made, but what me showing up every day, I can make change in little ways every day. And so like during the pandemic, I was like, okay, I will not be going into a room. I will bring myself into every room 100%.
Yeah.
Which is something I had started to do before the pandemic, but after it, I was like, oh yeah, you cannot shy away from who you are. You got to walk in here 100%. You've been asked to be in this room because of who you are.
Yes.
So bring that 100%. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to push back when something seems wrong.
Ooh, which is so scary. In the moment, that can be scary.
I'll be like, this
ain't right.
No. And I'd be like, as a Black woman. So, but I challenged myself during the pandemic. I was like, when you go back to the room, you advocate for yourself and others. Always. So I feel like I did that.
You did, and I've been watching. We all have. You can answer this however you want.
Dun 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 dun. Uh-oh. It's taking a long time to answer this question.
Ew.
Excuse me. What's
Aisha,
the question?
What happened to our show?
Really?
For real.
People fucked up.
That's all you got?
I mean, where's this going? I believe that our producers were scared to fully go after the idea that we had that was full of integrity and female empowerment. And, there were more, like, we didn't even talk about the intersectionality of feminism and race and like all these things, which our book writer wanted to discuss.
Yes.
And it was chopped. And just like this idea that the show was for everyone and not just for females, or was about everyone.
Generally,
was about everyone being empowered and having their own, choice. And it's like, yeah, but women are significantly more marginalized and they don't have the right to do that. So that's what the show is about. Like, we have the right to do it, but it's not, so it's like, that is actually what our show is about. And I feel like if we would have gone full force ahead in that direction and not been fearful of ticket sales or finding our audience. I feel like when you pursue integrity, your audience will find you.
Oh, just like an energetic attraction. Like,
yeah. And telling the people what the show was actually about.
Yeah.
And not trying to paint it as a, like, this is a fun time. Yeah, a fun time about what? Like,
we
what is the
got that
purpose?
butterfly. I feel like we all know what the butterfly meant, but it kind of left the script and no one ever explained why we still had the butterfly on all of our things.
That's gone. But then, like, the women were on things, and then they started to take that off and just be like, it's a party.
They never really said the best dancing on Broadway.
Come have a good time.
Thank you for,
it's like, talk about the story, advertise what the show is about, sell the female empowerment, because then our audience will show up. Sell the Britney aspect, sure, but that's not the only aspect of our show that's going to pull people.
I feel like we heard from places our show is not about female empowerment. People don't want to hear about that. And then Barbie comes out and makes $1 billion. That don't make.
And then they realize people do want to hear about it because it's an important message, because it's impactful, because it has integrity. But they didn't want to pursue that fully for whatever reason. Fear of not making the money back, fear of, and I get it, like, there is an overall sincerity of, like, we want the show to do well, we want to make sure you are employed, so we're going to make these changes to ensure that. But it's like, no, how about we just stick to the initial idea and purpose and message and
stand by that.
Stand
firm in that.
Yeah, which I still feel like as the cast, we did. No matter what the material ended up being, we stood in that. And so people still got that message, thankfully, which is beautiful, because it could have been something different.
Yeah.
Because there was a moment where I was like, oh, I'm not proud of.
Oh, I remember. We all were like, wait, what's happening?
What version of the play are we like giving right now? And what is the message, and what are people going to walk away with? And to me, like, what are these little girls going to walk away with?
Yeah.
Isn't it for them? Like, who is it for?
Yes.
So that's that. Yeah.
How, in your opinion, I have 2 more questions for you. How, in your opinion, did COVID impact our show from DC to Broadway? Before DC, honestly?
Yeah, I mean, before DC, we were supposed to go to Chicago. When COVID came, I was negotiating my Broadway contract for Once Upon a One More Time. We were supposed to go to Chicago and immediately transferred to Broadway.
That hurts my feelings remembering that.
Yeah.
Having both contracts in my inbox.
Right. So COVID like chopped that. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to be a principal on Broadway before I hit 30. Like, I was like, bet. I mean, it still happened. Age doesn't matter. But but yeah, so it definitely like halted that. And then coming back, I mean, DC, there was a lot of fear, a lot
of fear. People were freaking out in the building.
But luckily in DC, none of us ever got COVID.
There were some close calls.
There were close calls. There was false positives, but no one got COVID.
A miracle.
I mean, someone on our stage management, I believe a crew member, but no one in the cast got COVID. It. No one in the band, I don't believe. But yeah, so like the fact that was wild. That was wild. Like, you are covered.
But every day felt like Russian roulette.
Yes. And so there was a level of fear and anxiety that I believe we all carried with us.
Yes.
Because at any moment we didn't know.
We took a COVID test at intermission and I went on for Gretel because she had a false positive. We didn't know it was a false positive. We're just like.
So yeah, there was a level of that came along with that. And then COVID here on Broadway, there was also a level, like I thought at one point COVID was going to annihilate our show. And being in Paradise Square, where the week after opening, 30 plus of us got COVID and it shut our show down for a week and a half. And it was very hard to come back from that.
A lot. 30?
Yeah.
No.
Like 35 plus.
No.
Like we had a rehearsal on stage.
Aisha.
So the Monday, we opened on a Sunday. Monday, people were starting to feel sick. So Tuesday, some people didn't come to work. Then Wednesday, a few more people didn't come to work. And that's when I made my debut as Nellie. I remember because it was the Wednesday after opening. And the Wednesday after opening in Frozen, I made my debut as Anna.
Oh.
It always happens after opening because COVID in this case, but after opening, everyone's body is like so tired from tech and previews.
Yes.
You've made it to opening night and your body's like, I did my job. So Patty got bronchitis after opening and then Jakina got COVID.
Oh.
So that Wednesday, and then by Thursday, we were in an understudy rehearsal and little by little, like 11 people had COVID. So then that Thursday night, we were on stage rehearsing a version of the show, missing 11 to 13 people.
Yeah.
And then we kind of just all called it. We were like, no, we shouldn't do the show tonight.
We shouldn't do this.
We can rehearse a version of the show. We can use the time tonight to rehearse a version of it. And they didn't want to cancel the show. They ended up canceling the show like an hour before. People were already outside.
I had a ticket that night.
There were a lot of people who had tickets that night. And so that was a Thursday night.
I was like, wait, what?
That was a Thursday night. That night we all rehearsed, but then on Friday we woke up because all of us were there together. There were more cases. On Friday. So then on Friday they finally canceled the show for the weekend, thinking people would be back on Monday. And I was like, yeah.
Come on.
So we had and I was in rehearsals for Pal Joey. Yep.
Could you go?
I went to the first day of rehearsal for Pal Joey because I had tested negative all throughout the weekend. And then on Monday, I went to the first day of rehearsal. I didn't take my mask off.
Did you hug Tony for me?
Yeah.
I'm married.
And we used to.
Oh.
But we read the first act. And I got a phone call from my COVID safety manager telling me that I tested positive. And so I left.
You're like, I gotta run to Walgreens.
So I left and I went home for a couple of days. But I was able to return back to Pal Joey masked before I was able to return back to Paradise Square. Anyway, week and a half, COVID really impacted the sales of that show. And, having to owe people money after we already weren't making money with the box office. But it was also similar, like not poor advertisement. Nobody knew what the show was about.
I loved the show.
It was gorgeous. But
here it was like people got COVID.
People one person at a time, which is also a blessing because we had COVID cases from top of July.
We did.
I feel like there was a COVID case because GMA's was like second or third week of July.
Yeah,
and that was our like first or second case.
It was like people took turns. They're like,
yeah, it was like one human at a time. Then that person came back, somebody else.
And we had just enough covers for each.
But then when I got it, 5 people got it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, this is it. Show's closing.
I know. I was like, we're gonna be okay. We're gonna be okay. But then Justin was like, me too. I'm like, oh, not Aisha and Justin.
And then I was like, if Briga,
that's it,
and somebody else gets it, the show's about to shut down for a week.
We can't do that.
And our sales, we were selling 47% capacity. The week I saw 47% capacity, I was like, oh, we about to close.
We're about to close.
Yeah.
Oh God.
And then a couple weeks later, we got the call.
Speaking of closing notice, and I might have to edit this out. Yeah.
That was me when I got the phone call that we were closing.
Damn. Hi. You're not ready for this question.
Go ahead. This is the version of this is the after dark version. This is just for us.
This is just for us. How'd you feel about Ryan Redmond coming back into the building?
Not your ass going from closing. We'll talk about that.
It's the closing weekend.
I'm not talking about that. I'll tell you that later.
Ah! Ah! How did you feel last 2 weeks that we had together?
I felt proud. I've always felt proud of all of us because I feel like we went through some shit and we all rose to the occasion. None of us quit, which we all could have.
Which some of us tried.
Which we all have the right to. Everyone has a capacity, But like, we didn't abandon ship.
We
didn't
didn't.
abandon one another.
That we truly had each other's
supported
back.
each other. We loved on each other. We allowed space for people to feel how they felt, because everybody had different feelings.
Everybody had different.
Okay.
Yes.
And so I was, those last 2 weeks, of course, like counting down, like, oh, what are all the things that I want to do, or try new choices, or like, you know, just in my head about those different types of things. But I was just like soaking it up. That's like, honestly, I was just like, okay, I'm gonna soak it up. It is what it is. It ain't what it ain't.
Yeah.
That's that. Like, accepting the reality of it. And to me, I have had quite a ride that I believe is different from what others experienced. And there were some things that really hurt me during this process. And also like my health, my vocal health, my physical health, they were kind of pushed in ways that they haven't been. And I found out about different injuries within myself. So like, to me, having an end date almost felt like a relief of, like, again, another type of weight that is being taken off. So like, each show I was like, okay, checking off, like, you made it through, and praying over myself to be like, no further injury.
Yeah.
And then when Steven got injured, that like made me a little bit more fearful, you know, and I'm like counting down the days, and I'm like, is your voice good? You're in good voice. Okay. Is your back okay? You good? Your knees good? You know, like, and telling my mind, I had something on my mirror that was like, you are healthy, you are whole, you are capable, and you got this, and like, with God, all things are possible. And just like remembering those things, looking at them daily, speaking those over myself, because I'm like, you got this. It's gonna be fine. You can make it to the end. And also giving myself grace of like, and if you can't, then you can't.
Yeah.
Because you've created the role, you've done the thing.
You've done the thing.
And if you can't finish it, you know, of course, I would have hated if I couldn't finish it. But like,
you did. You don't
but
even
I
have to
did
think
it.
about that.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, those last 2 weeks I was just, and then the final week, of course, I'm like, wow, this final week.
Yeah.
It's the last time that we're like getting to do this.
Yeah.
So like, this is the last time you're gonna say it. So I had to remind myself to just be present, and instead of thinking about that, you know, it's like, just be present, just stay in it and have fun and enjoy these audiences. And
my final question for you is, what was your most favorite memory from all of this?
I think for me, it's
being my friend.
Yeah. Stupid. I will say, I mean, the people that this show brought into our like our lives, my life, like
our lives,
beautiful
because we're friends.
She's nuts. Get out of here. For me, it's always a blessing to see how the show impacts others. So the ways in which me being a Black woman, embodying Snow White, inspires someone else, or it tells this little girl, like, you could be a princess too. That to me is the most important.
Did you get that at the stage door? Did you get that?
I got it in letters. I got it in fan mail. I got it at the stage door, seeing little chocolate drops, being like, you were my favorite. There's this one girl who came and she wants to be a performer, and I like saw her in the audience with her mom, so I was like dancing with her, and then she came to the stage door and she was so kind, and she's like, I wanted, and her mom was like, she was beautiful too, and it was so, like, I would see these beautiful Black and brown girls and my eyes would tear up whenever I would see them at the stage door, because that's my why. That's like always been my why. And so to like see that fully realized and see how it impacted them, all the BS that we were dealing with on the daily, I was like, that doesn't matter. And it's similar, like Anna being a standby, getting thrown on, anxiety inducing, it, you know, like all those things. I would get on stage and I'll be like, somebody needs to see you in this role today. So there's somebody in the audience who needs to see you. That's what you focus on. That's why we're here, you know? So that's the most important thing to me, is that, and one of the young ladies that I met, she's just like, yeah, I want to do this. And I was like, well, I created Snow so that someday you can play her. And that, I'm like,
my
but
God.
like, that's why I'm doing it. Like, so she's like, yeah, I can't wait. I'm like, great. So I'm gonna go to work tomorrow and I'm gonna keep making her better, so that by the time you get her, she is, yeah. So that's the
Aisha Jackson, everybody. Thank you for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
And also for being gracious and generous, giving and kind and supportive the entire step of the process for me, for always encouraging me, for always making me feel like you have my back, and for always making me feel welcome in this dressing room.
Oh, yes.
You always made me feel welcome, and for encouraging me to make it my own when I was on for Snow for you, and to shine my light too. You encouraged me to do that. So I just want to say thank you, and that I admire you so much.
I love you.
You love me.
I love you. And thank you for affirming that I did those things, because that's my goal.
It's on the record.
I want to treat others the way I desire to be treated. And I have been not treated those ways before.
You want to drop names?
No. We've had our moment. It's fine.
Okay.
She won't treat anyone else like that.
Thank you for joining me. See ya.
Bye.